We have all experienced that moment when a single insult or a sharp piece of criticism ruins an entire day. It feels like a door slams shut on our peace of mind, leaving us trapped with someone else's negativity. Our natural instinct is often to push back. We try to work harder and perform better, hoping to prove our worth to the very people who are committed to bringing us down. This creates a cycle of knocking on a closed door. We pour our energy into an environment that refuses to value us, expecting a different result that never actually arrives. This constant effort is physically and emotionally draining. Waiting for a toxic person to finally grant you their approval doesn't just waste time, it slowly kills your spirit. To survive this without becoming bitter, we have to change how we respond. We need a two-stage psychological boundary that protects our internal peace and our external time. The first stage is the internal boundary. We can see how this works in the story of a monk walking through a crowded, noisy market. A jealous merchant suddenly confronts the monk, shouting insults and trying to humiliate him in front of the crowd. The merchant is desperate to provoke a reaction. The monk remains completely still. When the merchant finally finishes his tirade, the monk asks a simple question. If you offer a gift to someone and they refuse to take it, who does the gift belong to? Every insult is an offer of toxic energy. As this diagram shows, transactions require a sender and a receiver. When the target denies the delivery, the burden bounces back, remaining entirely with the sender. Negativity requires your active consent to take root in your mind. By refusing the gift, you keep your peace intact and leave the giver to deal with their own poison. But sometimes the problem isn't a single person in a market, it's the entire environment. This requires an external boundary, like the one established by a rooster named Nislo on a quiet farm. Nislo took his duty seriously. Every morning, his call acted as a living alarm clock, waking the farmers and protecting the routine. Despite his service, the farmers were ungrateful. They met his morning calls with stones and insults, complaining that his presence was nothing more than a nuisance. Eventually, Nislo sat on the fence and realized that his effort was being wasted. Trying to prove his value to people who refused to see it had become a fool's errand. He felt no anger, only a deep sense of exhaustion. In an act of self-respect, he took flight and left the farm behind, to find a place where his existence would be valued. That night, a heavy silence fell over the property. Because Nislo was gone, there was no one to sound the alarm when thieves arrived under the cover of darkness to steal the farm's animals. The farmers only understood the protective value Nislo provided when they woke up to a completely empty farm. By then, their regret came too late to fix the loss. Removing your unappreciated value from a toxic environment is a powerful move. It forces the people who mistreated you to face the consequences of your absence. Combining these two lessons creates a psychological framework for lasting peace: silent forgiveness. This form of forgiveness acts as a strategic withdrawal. It allows the past to remain in the past, ensuring that old wounds don't continue to drain your current mental energy. This process involves setting down the heavy weight of trying to reform or win over people who are committed to dragging you down. You stop the debate and choose to move on. Practical peace requires both the internal refusal of toxic gifts and the external action of stepping away from environments that demand your exhaustion. Endlessly seeking approval from an ungrateful source creates a permanent debt you can never pay off. Prioritizing your own well-being over their validation is the only way to reclaim your trajectory. Walking away ends the cycle of conflict on your own terms. When you master the art of the quiet exit, you retain your dignity and ensure that negative energy no longer has a target to hit.